Good morning and welcome to our harvest celebration. Let's say together, this is our school. May we flourish together and reach great heights.
This song's all about a little hummingbird and we learnt it last week. Let's see if we can remember it. Though I'm smaller than the sun, though I'm lighter than the air, yet when I sing aloud, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 the world belongs to me. Though I'm smaller than the sun, though I'm lighter than the air, yet when I sing aloud, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 the world belongs to me. When I share out the food I have in plenty, when I give of the best that I can do, then my song will be heard. Chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 the world belongs to me. When I share out the food I have in plenty, when I give of the best that I can do, then my song will be heard. Chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 the world belongs to me. Can a singer tell a story? Can a feather change the weather? If I sing as I fly, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 my song can reach the hills. Can a singer tell a story? Can a feather change the weather? If I sing as I fly, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 my song can reach the hills. Give me freedom to sing without an echo. Give me freedom to fly without a shadow. So when I sing aloud, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 my song will reach the hills. Give me freedom to sing without an echo. Give me freedom to fly without a shadow. So when I sing aloud, chilly, chilly, chillo, 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 my song will reach the hills.
The theme of our harvest celebration links in with our school metaphor this year, which is birds. And you can see in my house, I've got an amazing picture of some pelicans up there. And today we're going to be looking at a story of an incredible woman, a woman who lived very recently. Her name was Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai was from Kenya, and she looked around at what was going on in Kenya, and she was really unhappy because the people there were having to cut down the trees for firewood. And she realised that when the trees were cut down, the soil became much poorer and people were having to walk further and further to get wood. And that meant they were spending a lot of their day walking and they were very unhealthy. And it made her quite angry. So she decided to do something about it. And so she decided to start planting trees. So she went around in her village and started planting trees. And she worked with women in neighbouring villages and they started planting trees too. And soon, many women throughout that area of Kenya were all planting trees. Because trees are amazing, aren't they? They grow, they provide wood, but they also provide habitats for birds and animals. The government didn't like what she was doing, and so Wangari was arrested and she was put in prison just because she was planting trees. Amazing. However, she didn't stop fighting, and in prison she kept speaking out and kept writing, and eventually when she was released, the government let her carry on, and she was the first black woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And I think she's an incredible woman because she was brave and she stood up for what she believed in. Now we're going to hear a little clip, and it's a clip of Wangari telling a wonderful story. And this story is called The Hummingbird. So I'd like you to listen to this story. And then I've got some questions for you.
We are constantly being bombarded by problems that we face, and sometimes we can get completely overwhelmed. The story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest being consumed by a fire. all the animals in the forest come out and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, very powerless, except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, takes a drop of water, and it puts it on the fire and goes up and down, up and down, up and down, as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals like the elephant with a big trunk, could bring much more water. They are standing there helpless, and they are saying to the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You're too little. This fire is too big. Your wings are too little. And you're big, so small. You can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discourage it, it turns to them without wasting any time and tells them, I am doing the best I can. And that to me is what all of us should do. We should always feel like a hummingbird. I may feel insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can.
It's a brilliant story, isn't it, The Hummingbird? What I like best about it is when we see all the large animals gathered around, the elephant and the giraffe, doing nothing, staring at the fire, and then the little hummingbird flying to and fro with a drop of water in its beak. I think it's a really powerful story, and I wonder if you might like to think about these questions. In the story, there's a huge forest fire burning in the jungle, and all the animals are staring, doing nothing, watching, feeling totally overwhelmed. I wonder, in the world today at the moment, what are the things which we as a world are stopping and staring at, and we don't really know what to do about? What are the things that we feel quite overwhelmed by in the world at the moment? Secondly, what is it that the hummingbird does that is so amazing? Think about what Wangari says. I will be the hummingbird. I will do the best I can. Sometimes we feel quite overwhelmed about the problems facing the world, but maybe we can be like the hummingbird and take just one small drop of water and fly. Wangari also said, we all should do one little thing. My little thing is planting trees. What could our little thing be at Horfield School in our classes? Would you like to think about those questions now?
I saw a tree by the riverside one day as I walked along, straight as an arrow and pointing to the sky, growing tall and strong. How do you grow so tall and strong? I said to the riverside tree. This is the song that my tree friends
Harvest is a time in the Christian calendar where we think about this amazing gift of creation that we have, this beautiful planet we have, with all its wonderful wildlife, its trees, and especially its birds. This is something which Christians believe has been given to us by God as a gift. And like when we get a new gift, we want to take care of it, don't we? We want to treat it preciously. Christians believe that this creation we have been given is our gift from God, and we then have to look after it. So Wangari was a wonderful example of that. She saw the world was a gift, and she saw that this gift was being abused, and she stood up. She planted trees, she stood up to governments to fight for the right to look after this beautiful planet. This week, we're going to be collecting for the food bank, because it's not just our planet which needs fixing, it's our society as well. And there are many people at the moment who are struggling. So as we bring in our gifts of food, we think about the wish we have to be generous to people and the fact that we can be generous to those in need locally. And the gifts you brought in will make a real difference in Bristol. And that's fantastic. So thank you, all those of you who've brought food in for the food bank. I want to finish with a reflection. So if we all just have a moment of quiet and stillness. Let us be grateful for this amazing, beautiful gift of a world. Let us be grateful for the generosity of this planet, for the amazing birds we see, for the extraordinary trees and animals, for the fact that this planet provides all we need: shelter, food, beauty, amazing water to swim in, amazing materials to make the things that make our lives so much better. Help us to be generous in our own lives. Help us to be generous for those who need help in our society. Help us to be generous for all those in our school when they need it. Help us to be generous with our time, to listen to others, to see those who need help, for those who are feeling lonely. Help us to go and find them and stand there alongside them. Encourage us to stand up when we see things that aren't right. Help us to call out those who need reminding of the right way to live. And bless us this harvest time in our school and in our community and in our country. Amen.